Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Nona from thelinelover.com. I have another series for you. Let's start to explore the essences as described by Harriet McJimsey in her book Art and Fashion in Clothing Selection from 1973, still very relevant and useful today. We'll start off with the most yang essence, the dramatic. Harriet McJimsey was very influenced and inspired by stylist Belle Northrup, who also used the yin-yang spectrum to assess different relationships between design elements, costuming, clothing elements, and aesthetics, and the yin-yang concepts. McJimsey also emphasized that not only physical attributes, but more immeasurable attributes like mannerisms, voice, and expression had to be contended with in order to create the most authentic self-expression through clothing or costuming. She gives the following relationships. So build, height, and posture tend to influence general structure or silhouette the most. Facial characteristics are highly dependent on necklines and any detail close to the face to be very emphasized. Personal coloring has to be used strategically to create certain effects or themes. And hairstyles, mannerisms, voice, and expression all need to be contemplated in order to modify that expression, kind of like accessories, colors, and textures. McJimsey gave the following examples as being very young. Those include the oak tree, the painting American Gothic, calla lilies, lions, and eagles. These represent strength, dignity, reserve, and dynamic force, and they also tend towards solidity, linearity, and elongation. Because we are, in fact, looking at a spectrum, it helps to look at the other end. So on the right, I have the yin elements described by McJimsey. Those include willow trees, the painting Child in White by Renoir, hummingbirds, deer, and lily of the valley flowers. These elements are more curved, gentle, soft, timid, or shy, and they evoke a very different emotional response. So one by one, let's just compare the different yin-yang symbols. So starting off with American Gothic, you can see it has a lot of elongation, angularity, linearity, diagonals, and verticals, as well as large spans of solid color, whereas in Child in White, a lot more small curvature, more ornate details, and more of a blended use of color. Let's compare the trees. The young oak tree looks a lot more erect, solid, and large, unmovable, whereas the willow tree looks a lot more delicate and wispy and moves with the breeze. The calla lily looks a lot more strong and solid compared to the delicate and very round lily of the valley. The eagle looks a lot more forceful than the delicate hummingbird, and the lion, again, is a lot more strong looking and evokes that very regal kind of vibe, much more than the deer, which tends to evoke a more gentle and, I would say, delicate, nurturing response. Because we are looking at physical characteristics of humans and not objects or symbols, these are the traits that McJimsey described as being very young. So in terms of height, that's going to look like a tall or elongated proportioned silhouette. The build tends towards angularity, lengthiness, sturdiness with broad shoulders. The posture is erect, more military-like, weight back on the heels as opposed to forward on the toes. It feels a lot more grounded. Color is more striking or bold. The face shape tends toward elongation, oblong shapes, angularity. The facial features she describes include eyes that tend to be a little more heavy-lidded or slanted with narrow spacing, more angular brows, a wide but flatter or thinner mouth, straight or convex high cheekbones, and taut or hollow cheeks. The manner is more reserved or dignified. Maturity is high. This is opposite of childlike. The gestures are more weighty, decisive, deliberate, and sure, and the voice tends to be more low and slow. In terms of costuming, the silhouette tends to be more long, unbroken, extreme in terms of fashion at whatever decade you are looking at. Tighter or heavy elements, diagonal drapes, dolman sleeves, stand-up or high necks, and heavier collars. The line momentum tends towards straightness, angularity with flattened curves, verticality, diagonality, and a downward emphasis. Again, that solidity, that weightiness. Details are best kept large and lesser in number and usually below the waist. I think this is more relevant to dresses or outerwear as opposed to like separates. Texture tends to be heavy, rough, stiff, luxuriant, or very easy to elongate, like satins, crepes, and silks. And the rhythm is either continuous or flowing or evenly spaced. With the evenly spaced rhythm, you get kind of like a ruler. And when you have that ruler on you, it's easier to see how tall someone is. More specific costuming elements include necklines like high, tight collars, turtlenecks, deep V's, large shawls, collarless blouses, large lapels with a very downward angle. Other garments include long tunics, side draped silk dresses, tunic or trapeze silhouettes, fitted long sleeves or trumpet sleeves, and sleek pumps. And some accessories mentioned include large jewelry, fur caps, wide fedoras, and long gloves. These are all really great accessories for emphasizing that dramatic or theatrical element that is just so becoming on the dramatic. So that was it for the intro to the McJimsey essences. I wanted to stay very close to the source material just to really establish a more clear idea of what was mentioned in her book, what she really worked on. And I will get to the other essences in future videos in this series. And just remember that one system is not going to be able to account for all of your subtleties and nuances. These are tools that will point you towards items or details that are likely or very probable in terms of becoming very fitting on you. They will most likely enhance your unique beauty. So remember, style is a journey. Be patient with yourself. See you in the next video.